Sony and Bungie joining forces, teaming up. The acquisition is not really an acquisition in the sense of like how Microsoft, Microsoft buys people and own people. But this is different. This is completely different, and that's part of the reason why Bungie chose Sony over Microsoft. Because Bungie and Microsoft had a 10-year relationship in the past. They broke up. Half of Bungie stayed with Microsoft, formed 343, kept making Halo. Bungie went to do their own thing. They joined Activision. They started making Destiny. Then they fell out with Activision. They bought Destiny's IP. They went their own way. They became a self-publishing, self-sustaining company. And then they were just floating in the wilds that is the gaming industry. And then this news came out of nowhere. Because after the Activision thing, Bungie was up in there, and they're like, all right, we're gonna do our own thing. They became, self sufficient. Everybody's like, damn, Bungie, they doing their thing. They bought themselves out of Activision. Everything was looking good for them. They dropped everything in fucking Game Pass. Everything Destiny 2 related, all of it dropped in Game Pass. They got people speculating that maybe Bungie comes back to Microsoft again. Those rumors out the fucking window now because they're with Sony. But nobody knows where that came from. Like why they chose Sony instead of Microsoft. But they explained it here. The Bungie's blog post on their website explains it all. And most of this stuff is like, okay, this is what, you know, partnerships and stuff sound like. All developers get this when they, get acquired by a company. But it's things in here that they emphasize that is like, I see why they didn't choose Microsoft because everybody else know what Microsoft wants. Bungie already know what they want because they already got once before. And they like, we're not going again. So they talk about how the potential of them being together, the funding, the resources that they can get from them have limitless potential. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Microsoft has more money, but like it makes sense. Kind of. And you keep reading. In SIE, we found a partner with unconditional support for us in all we are and wants to accelerate our vision. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Great leadership, great leadership. Sony has some great leadership out there. Unconditional support. They definitely not getting that from fucking Microsoft. They already fucked up once. Bungie's already fucked up once with them. They weren't gonna get unconditional fucking support. They were gonna get great support though, but at a cost. And that's where we're getting to. Cause while preserving their creative independence, stuff like that, Microsoft letting Bethesda do their thing. Cause Bethesda know what they're doing over there. They letting Bethesda with their creative freedom. They're gonna have that. That's fine. But then it comes to today begins a journey to become a multimedia entertainment company. Don't know what that means. They probably gonna make Bungie TV shows or movies or something like that, like how Halo's getting a TV show. But where it comes to is the creative freedom part. With the creative freedom that they have, and this is where it gets juicy with the Sony deal, because you read it and it talk about how potential for our universes are unlimited. Yeah, they're gonna give you all the creative freedom you want. That's fine because most companies will do that to you unless like you really need to get cracked down on. But when they highlighted, we remain in charge of our destiny. Holy shit, that spoke to me, bro. Because when you look at what Microsoft is doing with acquisitions, if Bungie went with Microsoft again, 343 would still be making Halo because most of those people came from Bungie. They formed 343 at the same time Halo Reach was being made. So they're Bungie people in 343 that still make Halo. They're going to keep making Halo. But Microsoft would have took Destiny right from under their ass after they just bought it back from Activision. So like that highlight right there is the reason Bungie chose Sony, because Sony doesn't get the IP, the only IP that Bungie owns, and they're protecting the fuck out of Destiny with their life. That's why they bought it back from Activision so bad. They're protecting the fuck out of their IP. They're protecting the fuck out of their independence. and Microsoft was going to give them independence. They were going to give them resources, but that IP was going to be Microsoft's IP, just like Halo. And it's like, that was the deal breaker for them. If they couldn't keep their own IPs and publish their own shit, they wasn't going. And I understand that Sony gave them everything they wanted. No questions asked. All they want was the knowledge. And I'm like, that sounds like a shit trade for Sony, because all you're getting is like mentorship. This is a $5 billion mentorship for one of your other studios, maybe like Naughty Dog or something. Because Naughty Dog's the only one's really working on a multiplayer game right now. Well, no, they got that new multiplayer studio. I don't even know what the fuck they're called no more. They're making a shooter for Sony, kind of third person, I think. But yeah, they pay $5 billion for a mentorship because Bungie's gonna teach them how to make service games, live service games, and Bungie's gonna do whatever the fuck they want with the money that they get from it. And it's like, damn, you $5 billion teacher. That's an expensive ass teacher, bro. Because Sony doesn't get anything else out of this. Because what this is saying is that Bungie get to be Bungie. Sony just pays their bills and helps them grow. And I'm like, oh, okay. Microsoft definitely wasn't just gonna give you everything for nothing. That's why they didn't go. Because when ZeniMax got bought, Microsoft took all their IP. So if they shut down any Bethesda studio right now, those IP are gonna go to someone else, make a great game. They were gonna do that with 343 as well. That's why they didn't come back. Cause they're like, oh, they're gonna lose fucking Destiny for sure. They won IP that they fought so hard to get back from Activision. They were gonna lose that shit. This is why they highlighted that so bright. We remain in charge of our own destiny. And I'm like, cause Microsoft would have took that bitch. So I understand. And this is still a good deal for Sony, kind of, because learning to make live service games is definitely going to help them in the long run. And then the Destiny community, they're still making plenty of money off of them. And Destiny's going to keep going multi-platform. Bungie going to keep making multi-platform things to keep bringing in money. So, I mean, the cash flow is probably going to be great for them. They're probably going to be funding themselves. They're just going to be publishing alongside Sony, kind of like how this logo is looking right now. But other than that, there's nothing else I see coming from this deal. Hopefully they make a fucking shooter for Sony. I want them to make a shooting game for Sony, not Destiny. Fuck Destiny. Make a real deal shooter for Sony, bro. And blow up the fucking media, bro. Show that y'all still got it, but they don't still got it, bro, because people hyping this up on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, I understand the excitement, the Bungie community, all of that. That's great, but don't bring up Halo Combat Evolved like this is the Bungie from 20 years ago. They're not. That Bungie split in half. 343 got the Halo side, and the rest of Bungie created Destiny. 343 didn't come out of nowhere. 343 is a Spartan in the Halo universe. That's how they made the fucking studio name. All the Halo people, they broke off from the whole Bungie, created a studio, kept making Halo during Halo Reach, and they've been making Halo ever since. So Bungie is a shell of what it used to be. You can't bring up Halo Combat Evolved and say, hey, we got the greatest Halo maker of all time. No, you don't. This is like me saying BioWare right now, it's the BioWare from Mass Effect 1. It's the BioWare from Origins. No, they're not. They're not the BioWare from 20 years ago. They're still pretty good. I'll still look forward to their games, but they're not the BioWare from 20 years ago. And I'm not about to act like they are. So if anybody bought BioWare right now, I would be excited for what's to come. But I know they're not the BioWare from 20 years ago. So don't act like they're the Bungie from 20 years ago, bro. They're still good, but they're not who they used to be. So don't act like it. But that's all I got to say about this. So thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new. What y'all think gonna happen with this Bungie deal? Because we already know what they all saying. Because Sony's saying the same thing Bungie's saying. Like, they're gonna be completely to themselves. They're gonna make their money. They're gonna fund their projects, and Sony's just gonna help and learn. And I'm like, that's cool, but that's so strange for a paid acquisition like this. You could have made a partnership for less. I'm thinking, but we don't know. There's some hidden clause somewhere. Gotta be, but we don't know it yet. So yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video.